We're live.
Brilliant. Well, welcome. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, regardless of where you're joining. My name is Alex.
My name is Robin.
There we go. Getting better each week. And this is Whole Flip or Dump. And this week we've got three tokens. Market is overall is quite green, so we've gone for three tokens that have been winning in the past 7 days. A lot of tokens have been winning, but in this case, it's the three tokens that have won the most, the ones that have generated the most gains. Again, taking away all those meme coins that have been pumping. So the three tokens this week, I'll share my screen so everybody can see it, are going to be, um, here we go. So we've got Fetch AI, then we've got Arweave, and finally we've got Theta Network. We'll get to that in a minute, and we're going to just go through some of the latest news. So, Robin, take it away.
Yeah, so the first one is obviously, as you said, it is March the 6th as of recording, and Bitcoin yesterday, I think, hit an all-time high. So I thought we could just mention that briefly. It happened very quickly. You blinked and you missed it. It hit 69K, I think, only on some exchanges, and then dropped considerably immediately afterwards. So technically, we've hit an all-time high, but right now, let's see, what's the price is sitting at 66,874. So a few thousand off that all-time high, but still things are going back up again. And I've just got an article on my screen from Time Magazine, why Bitcoin just hit its all-time high. And yeah, it's the usual story. The ETFs have come in. There's loads of volume coming from the markets, and that is by all accounts set to continue. So we're hoping to see more Web2 money coming into the markets, and that all-time high probably won't last for long. And then, as you'd expect, we've seen Ethereum going up to right now 3,800, which is the highest it's been since I think December 2021, something like that, like back in the bull market last time, basically. So Ethereum also big gains there, and we've seen some crazy gains on the meme coins, Shiba, Doge, and where is it? So all the way down at number 40, Pepe, 43 now. That's dropped a bit. I held on to a bit of Pepe. I sold near the top last peak, and I held on to a little bit, so that's been doing well, which I'm pleased about. Yeah, so that's the first story, all-time high. Alex, how are you feeling?
Yeah, brilliant. Super interesting. We'll put all the links later on in the description, so they should be there if you're watching this afterwards. Just scroll down, you will see it. And it's interesting because one of the articles that was quite popular in the past few weeks is that Bitcoin actually hit all-time highs in all other currencies.
Yeah.
It's just that it hadn't hit all-time highs on the US dollar. So there we go. I guess in the US everything was a bit later. But yeah, no, I think it's good. It's quite positive. And yeah, on the meme coins, I've never really been a great follower of meme coins. Whenever I've been airdropped, I just go and sell them. It's not financial advice. It's just what I do. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that's really interesting though is throughout everybody's timeline is the comment around this pump of meme coins is that precedent towards an altcoin season. So anything that is Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, etc., should start pumping, you know, just as a aftermath of the whole meme coin season, if that's a thing. So yeah, very interesting. I think it's really easy just to get super excited about all this stuff. We've been waiting for moments like this for quite a while. If you're new to the crypto space, probably you haven't been really waiting, but it's something that you know, we really wanted to see some green in the market. So, I guess it's good to celebrate the little win sometimes.
Yeah, very well said. And yeah, none of this is financial advice, as we should always say. We don't necessarily always remember to say that, but I'm glad we did this time. So the other story is the SEC pushes back the Fidelity Spot Ethereum ETF proposals. So this basically is just the following the Bitcoin ETFs. If everyone's getting interested, obviously, about the next ones, which are likely to be Ethereum ones, and there's several applications in with the SEC, but they've been pushed back. So they're not happening as soon this year as they were originally planned. But analysts continue to tip May as the month to watch. So a lot of this Bitcoin bull run has been driven by, like we said, the ETF frenzy. So are we going to see Ethereum follow suit? Alex, what do you think?
I don't know. I guess it's the only logic step. But again, I'm not sure how the perspective or what the yeah, what's the opinion of more traditional investors on Ethereum? I'm guessing that Bitcoin has been around. Funny enough, I was in a conversation with my grandmother not long ago, and she was talking to me saying, "Are you still with this Coinbit thing?" You know, like I'm guessing that people that are not in this space, they think that Bitcoin is just everything, and I'm not entirely sure what rush these investors are on bringing in Ethereum ETF. So I'm guessing that's the reason why they're pushing it back. The one thing that's interesting is that everybody was looking at the Bitcoin halving as that inflection point for a massive growth. And then we had the ETF just before that. So it kind of feels like everything's very perfectly timed. So who knows? Maybe we need to wait for a new Ethereum upgrade. I believe there's one coming up. And so once that's getting closer, maybe we'll see ETFs for Ethereum getting approved. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. Convincing Web2 investors, convincing TradFi to invest in Bitcoin is one thing, convincing to invest in Ethereum is another. So maybe we'll see less appetite for that. The final, just quickly, news story is obviously we've touched on this already, but meme token skyrocket market cap hits 61.5 billion. That is a big number. So yeah, we won't go into too much detail on this, but as of the last couple of weeks, meme coins have been pumping, maybe a precursor to altcoin season. Maybe those newly minted meme coin millionaires will be putting their hard-earned Doge into NFTs. Who knows? But this could be the start of something else. What do you think is what's this a signal for, Alex?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really difficult if you're watching this now or later on, do just leave a comment or reach out to us as to how you analyze or track um, meme coin activity, because it's a very difficult one. Again, you know, I'll just repeat the comment that I made earlier that a lot of these analysts are talking about meme coin activity then leading towards a growth on altcoins. So who knows? I must confess that I've always tried to stay away from meme coins. Again, not financial advice. But the reason being is because of that. It's very difficult to understand the mechanics of it. And then you need a lot of activity, but sometimes a lot of that activity on social media doesn't really have a lot of the impact that you would expect. So it's sometimes a hit and miss with meme coins. I mean, you've been quite lucky with Pepe. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, my advice, well, not my advice, but my own strategy has always been get the airdrop or invest at the beginning and then try and time it as best you can, then sell 90%. Don't invest anything you can't afford to lose, especially when it comes to meme coins, because they are volatile and not reliable in the slightest. So yeah, it's just something. It's just a bit of fun, really, for me. I don't really think there's a lot of value there. I think it's the utility is probably non-existent for meme coins, but it's still people love memes, and I think a lot of it is about branding. If you're a NFT project like Pudgy Penguins, for example, one of the reasons they're doing so well is branding. They've got a fantastic strategy for getting the Pudgy Penguin brand out into the real world, and that's what meme coins do as well. Meme coins are just getting the meme as far as they possibly can and tying that back into this crypto coin. So it's branding, and it's like a pure kind of branding, but it's very interesting to watch.
Mm. Okay. Um, well, thanks for those news. I guess that next week I'll have to look into, 3 news articles to share. But anyways, you just scroll down to the description and you'll find them there. Um, Now let's crack on with some of these tokens. I'll go ahead and just share about Fetch AI. Again, full disclosure, we do not hold any of these 3 tokens. We're familiar with some of them, but starting with Fetch AI, we can see right there that it's got fairly strong centralized exchange support, and a lot of that trading comes directly from Binance and Coinbase and KuCoin. So mainly centralized exchange activity going on. In terms of what this project is about, I'll open up that website in a moment, but just not to read that, I'll just leave it on screen for everybody. But it just does look like it democratizes access to AI. It seems a lot of these AI and crypto projects have the same tagline: to democratize access to AI. Do you know much about this, Robin?
I don't know. This is new to me, but yeah, you're right. That we've heard that term so many times. People are worried about centralization when it comes to AI, and I think there are a lot of projects that promise this, and very few have actually got very far in terms of the technology. Singularity, actually, another company that kind of do similar kind of decentralized AI, and they've got a token as well. So it's kind of early days, and I think we are yet to see a technology that's been adopted really much at all. It's more of a promise than an actual product at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's maybe go to the website. Sorry, everybody, that you've just gone up and down on my screen. Let's see. So once again, you can build, deploy, and monetize AI apps. Yeah, very similar. Again, taking it back to Singularity, we've been talking about that project for a while, Robin, and essentially it's quite similar. I'm guessing that they use the blockchain side of things for governance and maybe to monetize some of the tools. They, yeah, obviously this is slightly too technical for me. You've been in the AI space, and as a developer, you might understand this a lot better. In any case, it does seem that it's easy to start, easy to run. I've seen a lot of projects that say that about themselves, but it's a bit hard to actually confirm all of that. Um, yeah, I'll keep exploring this site. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So I think that when it comes to this kind of heavy technical, very new technology, AI is a buzzword. It's very important to do your due diligence, as with any coin. But in this situation, I would focus a lot on actual applications. What stage of the development cycle is it at? Um, so in the example of Fetch AI, I would look at, well, first thing I try and find is what kind of applications are available, what can I do with the technology, and there seems to be try delta V I'm looking at here, and it seems like you need to connect your account. I'm not going to go through that in too much detail now, but yeah, when looking into a very technical project like this, things like how much adoption does it have, things like how many developers are involved, how many projects are using it, is it targeting other projects, is it a protocol, or is it more like a product which people can use, is it targeting the end user? um, yeah, I'd say it's difficult to summarize without having gone into detail, but those are the kind of things to look for. Um, it's a lot of promise, and it's tackling big problems, so the upside is potentially huge, but the big questions are around how legitimate is this project? What are who's backing it, and does the tech actually stack up? GitHub is a great way of finding out information about these projects as well. Fetch AI has a GitHub link on their homepage, which is useful. So you can look at things like how many commits have been going in, how active is the project, how many people are contributing. It looks like the main Fetch AI codebase has only 23 contributors, which seems low, but there could be a reason for that. And the last commit was 2 hours ago, so it's been updated relatively recently. And there's more information about actually how to use the technology on the GitHub. Usually, it will give you, if you're a developer, it'll give you instructions on installing it. Maybe you can run a system. Maybe you can run a demo yourself. For example, I'm just looking here on the GitHub, create a UI, create an agent, build your first UI agent using the following script. Okay, so yeah, you can. It looks like you can run it on your own machine. You might need a GPU, I don't know, but an interesting one, but high risk, I would say. That's my quick summary. High risk, but huge upside.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. In terms of hosting and stuff, they seem to have an option. I saw it earlier whilst I was skimming through. But for non-developers like myself, obviously, AI tokens. We did a review of this. We'll just leave the link in the chat, the link in the description as well. We did review some AI related tokens a couple of weeks ago. But for anybody that's not a developer, is just interested in price action, we see right here that is taking over the previous all-time high by quite a bit, actually. It's there we go, almost a 2x since the previous all-time high. So it's not bad at all. And again, we did look into this token in the past 7 days. Or we didn't really look into it in the past 7 days, but it's the ones that have been gaining the most in the past 7 days. And so we've got huge gains. Just going back 19th of Feb, look at that. That's almost a 5x since last week. So that looks quite interesting. In terms of other indicators on the RSI, relative strength index is on extremely overbought, 90 points out of 100 overbought. So keep an eye on that. That tells you that is essentially that overbought. So it could indicate potential sellouts. In terms of some of these supports, it could, we do have the chance to retest that level there around $1 more or less. Not entirely sure again how strong the community is, how strong the trading volume is, but we could see another support right there. So if things don't go very well, it could just retest this and just see how it goes going back up. Another option would be just essentially crash, do a retest of this, and then retest at 10 cents. So, just some potential scenarios right there. But in any case, again, considering this overbought and is almost a 5x, almost a 2x since the previous all-time high. Yeah, I don't know. Cautious. I want to be cautious with this.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I after you said that, I looked back and had a look to see if I could find any reason for this sudden jump. Let me just share my screen a second. And this is an article in the Cointelegraph from 22 hours ago. Fetch.ai announces GPU rewards for token holders after $100 million infrastructure investments. So it's built on Cosmos. It's allocating 100 million to an infrastructure program dubbed Fetch Compute. This will expand the tools, computing power, and training capabilities of developers alongside providing GPU credits for its users. So this is the idea of splitting up compute amongst lots of individual people in the same way that in the same way that distributed systems would work. Like, for example, the security of the Ethereum network is secured by lots of different nodes spread across the world. This would be providing GPU compute from lots of different people all around the world. There's been lots of attempts to do this before, but this one seems to have some fairly decent funding. So if you're somebody with a decent GPU and you want to earn a bit of cash, maybe this is something for you. But definitely one to follow. This is obviously why that price has suddenly shot up. People like the idea of a distributed compute network. Historically, the big AI companies have got this moat around them because they have access to huge compute resources, which are very expensive and only accessible by a very small number of very high value companies. So if we are able to democratize GPU access, then maybe that would help. I still don't think it will provide enough compute to challenge people like OpenAI, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Definitely one to watch.
Mm. Yeah, very interesting. Um, very cool. Okay, well, that maybe changes my opinion, at least for now. Let's move on to the next one, which was Arweave. Arweave is a token that I did personally hold at some point, and it's a token that I've been a fan of. Super interesting projects. Essentially, they're looking to. Um, well, actually, I'm not going to paraphrase. I'll open up the websites, and for anybody that has worked on NFTs, might have used or you might have had some exposure to Arweave, which essentially is just a decentralized storage network. Very similar to Storage, and yeah, just they were looking to create that permanent storage for all types of information. It's just that it started being used very heavily for NFTs, and but the initial idea for this was to keep all information from news articles, movies, books, you name it. How much do you know about Arweave, Robin?
I have always used IPFS, which is a competitor. I know that Arweave has a slightly different model, and it's so one of the drawbacks of IPFS is that you need to constantly pin a file for it to be accessible on the network, which means that if for some reason your file becomes unpinned, and this has happened in NFT projects before, then you lose it. It becomes lost to the ether, and that's a problem because if there's no one pinning your metadata, then nobody can see your images, nobody can see your traits, nobody can see anything about your NFT, and that
Hmm.
has happened. So that's a real risk. Arweave, I think, makes it makes it easier to store things long term, but I think it's more expensive. I could be wrong on that. I'll need to check that. Um, but it's a different system basically for providing long term blockchain or long term decentralized storage.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. I did. Anybody can create a Arweave wallet. There's an extension for it, and with that, then you can, just become a contributor of the whole Arweave experience. So, you need to claim it with your social media. And I'm realizing there's not a lot of information on the website, which is interesting. That's it. That's about what you get. Oh no, there we go. This so how to use it. Excellent. So, it's just about uploading files. You can do that directly once you've got your wallet. And as you can see, they encourage people to um, include anything from events, from websites, documents, and yeah, just generate the uncorrupted, uncensored internet network. I guess that's the key goal for them.
Yeah, something I've just seen. Arweave is building something incredible, founder declares, as coin spikes over 100%. This is from earlier this week. It seems like there's not a lot of detail what that is, but over the past 7 days, the token has surged by over 105%, and monthly we've seen 274%. So it seems like they've got something cooking, but what that is, we're not quite sure. This could just be somebody trying to pump the coin, or there could be some serious something around the corner. Let's see what they're saying. Arweave has been building something incredible, a hyper parallel computer living inside Arweave. Proof of stake computation that lets any number of processes execute in parallel. Oh, and it offers temporary storage. All on Arweave, testnet live. Join us 27th of February, is that? That seems like it's already passed. I don't know what's going on there.
It has, yes, just about a few days. So yeah, very interesting. I'm guessing that a lot of founders would like to say that their project is building something incredible, right? So
Yeah.
who knows? One thing that is I would like to bring up as well. There's this index. We'll leave the link in the chat as well. And generally, they do show activity on those infrastructure projects. I mentioned storage. Storage is just an Ethereum version of Arweave, and some of these projects they're indexed here based on their activity. Arweave was part of this at some point, but I'm guessing that it hasn't had the same level of activity as all of these other projects. Helium, really interesting project. We'll talk about it in another um, episodes. Created a phone internet infrastructure, really cool. And then again, LivePeer, competitor of YouTube, they're trying to um, just create that. Maybe I'm just making it up, but yeah, really interesting projects. I'll leave this link in the chat as well. In terms of price action for Arweave, yes, it's got really interesting in the past couple weeks. So that is almost that's a 4.5x. So really interesting gains, but it's really far away from the previous all-time high. So it's still about 150% away from reclaiming the previous all-time high. And considering that this token is subject to the activity on the network, that means that there's still a lot of work to be done, I think. Um, in terms of what this looks like, there's not a lot of support for this current price. Just from this perspective, we do have a bit of a support over here. So it does look like it's kind of fighting against this resistance. If it breaks through, then we could start looking into maybe retaking this level up here at $70. But again, if we open that RSI, again, you don't need to use these indicators. It's just my own little analysis is very heavily overpriced. Okay. So if we've got our levels right there and you follow RSI as a key indicator for yourself, you might see that potentially it will bounce back down from this level because if it's already overbought, why would traders keep buying it? They will want to take some gains on it. So yeah, that's my really quick analysis on this. I'm not sure, Robin, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like infrastructure coins. Arweave is definitely one of those. I don't fully understand the utility and how the coin actually works as part of the protocol and ecosystem. So I would want to do more research on that. But from fundamentally, I think it's going to stick around. I think more files will want to be stored in a decentralized way. And when the next NFT bull run comes, hopefully soon, we will see a lot more use of Arweave and IPFS and storage and other protocols like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to the last one before we make that decision. This is one that I've heard of, but I must say that I don't know much about it. Have you heard much about THETA Network, Robin?
No, I'm hearing about it for the first time potentially.
Okay, brilliant. We'll go and find some charts for later on. In terms of THETA, we'll get that website up and running for now. And again, loads of centralized exchange support. All three tokens are quite heavily supported by the biggest exchanges. And interesting. So building a infrastructure for video, AI, and entertainment. So storage and delivery of video streams and other scientific simulation financial modeling use cases. Wondering if this means they're also building some form of Web3 YouTube type of platform.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about we go to their website and see what this is all about? Because if it's infrastructure for video, maybe that's what it means. Again, if anybody's watching this thinking, why are you reviewing this project if you don't know anything about them? That's the whole purpose of it. Being complete unbiased when reviewing projects, anybody that hears of a project for the first time, just to be able to, within a few minutes, to scan the project and then understand whether it's worth to hold it, to flip it, or dump it. Um,
Yeah, just
Now,
a bit
back
of
to this.
information I've come across.
Mhm.
So, Theta Network, a platform decentralized video delivery and edge computing, has seen its price skyrocket by 60% in the last 24 hours. The surge has propelled Theta to become the top gainer across the entire spectrum of the top 100 cryptocurrencies. The rally can be attributed to a confluence of factors, notably the anticipation surrounding the upcoming launch of Theta Edge Cloud in the next quarter, a broader crypto market uplift led by Bitcoin and bullish chart setup for Theta. So it seems like they've got a product release coming, Theta Edge Cloud. Let's see if we can find out a little bit more. Here's a tweet from Theta. Theta Edge Cloud Phase 1 is coming in Q2. Check out the preview blog. What is Theta Edge Cloud, though? Any ideas? I don't know.
One thing that I'm thinking about, so isn't the founder of Twitch one of the founders of this,
Oh, really?
if I'm not wrong?
Interesting.
Because I do know the one of the founders of Twitch. Yeah, he is. Well, here we go. I'll just share my screen. Um, yeah, Justin Can,
Ah, yeah,
right
that's
there in the middle.
Justin.tv, right? That's the guy that used to live stream his whole life.
Yeah, well, so Justin.tv became Twitch
Right,
and
yeah.
then sold to Amazon, and then here we go. So I do recall um, seeing that he was going to get involved or he was going to start a Twitch, but on in Web3. But yeah, so this might be it. So, well, that changes things. There's a very interesting founder or a very interesting person to have in your team. He's shown here as a media advisor. So I'm not sure if that means that it's just a non-executive team member. I'm guessing that's what it means.
Hmm.
But yeah, a very interesting guy, by the way. If anybody doesn't know about Justin, I recommend following him on social media because he's a very smart guy and yeah, super engaging. So yeah,
Yeah, the I'm just going back to this news article. It seems like they're also building. Maybe this is the new product they're building, but the Theta Edge network highlighting its capacity to support a wide array of AI applications, thereby democratizing access to GPU processing power, which is going back to Fetch AI. Very seems like a very similar product. This vast processing power can deliver upwards of 2,500 equivalent NVIDIA A100s, enough to train and serve some of the largest language models. So yeah, it seems like maybe Theta are moving into decentralized AI as well. But not sure, not 100% sure.
okay. No, very interesting. I'm guessing that a lot of projects are trying to jump on that AI bandwagon and see if they can capitalize on the news, right? Because AI now is the hot topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, price wise, very similar to Arweave, being honest with you. In this case, it's even farther away. Look, I'm just zooming out even more to get to see that all-time high because we are yeah, about 5x away, so 400% away from the previous all-time high, which is quite serious, I think. Then zooming back in, we can see this resistance line over here, and it's already been already has bounced over. You can see the wig up there, and then the close is down here. So it's still rejecting that. So it doesn't look very strong. And considering there's also, yep, as I expected, it's overbought. could be that now is the time to start seeing some people taking some gains, really. So I'm not going to speculate as to how low it could go, but a very weak resistance support line could be around $2. So there's still a potential drop of another 50% or so. So yeah, otherwise, if by chance it does grow, then we could see a potential growth of about 50%. I'm not entirely sure how strong the project is to retake that $8 and then eventually the previous all-time high, which is very far from reclaiming it at $16. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is like I said, a very similar project to Fetch AI in some ways, but maybe with a more of a, I guess, more of a video streaming background. The founder, obviously, very strong background, and that is always a good thing. But also very speculative and high risk, very high risk. I think, like, we should probably wrap it up and going to the decision now. But overall, it seems like a lot of, obviously, the market's up and green, and that's good for everyone. But it seems like these two projects, Fetch AI and THETA, are riding the AI wave very effectively. Arweave is actually very interesting because it's got a lot of history and it's got a product that's out there being used by hundreds, if not thousands, of NFT projects and other platforms that want to store files in a decentralized way. So it's proven that they can deliver, and um, I'm excited about their new product. So in for all three of these, really, it's a new product that they've just released, and it's created a lot of hype. So it's difficult to say for sure which of those will be successful. I think for my hold, the token I would hold, I'm going to go with Arweave because it's a safer bet. I know that they've got a good product already, and the new one has a better chance of following through on those promises. For my flip, I'm going to go with THETA because of the strong founding team and background. So that's maybe got a higher chance. And then for my dump, I'm going to choose Fetch AI because it seems like they've got some investment. It seems like they've got a good idea, but it also seems like everybody else is trying to do the same thing, and maybe it's going to be difficult to execute on that promise. What do you think, Alex?
Okay. Yeah, I actually agree. So I would say to hold Arweave. I think there's got lots of potential, especially if there's a new NFT bull market. Arweave will have a lot of activity on the network, so I'm expecting that to affect the tokens. I would go with Arweave as a hold, flip for THETA, and I do know that I did mention some concerns on that strong resistance on the token price, but anything can happen, and there's still a lot of room to reach that new all-time high, so it could be a really interesting flip. And then for dumping, I will go with Fetch AI just because of the high level of competition in the AI space. I think what they're doing with the, democratizing the GPU usage, super cool. But that doesn't mean I don't know, Nvidia could start just creating GPU farms and start doing the same. So it's quite easily copyable by others. So yeah, I think that's where I would stand with this.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think, and if you agree. And then we'll come back in a few weeks or a few months and find out whether we would have been it would have been a good investment. We're not actually investing any money, so it's just going to be a purely
Hmm.
hypothetical decision or analysis. But it's always interesting to see what goes up, what goes down. At the moment, everything goes up.
Yeah. Yeah. But everything that goes up at some point needs to go down. So yeah, let's
Wise
see.
words.
Anyways, yeah. we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much. Potentially slightly rushed today, but it was nice to keep it on our toes. So more news next week, more tokens next week, and yeah, more fun next week.
Exactly. In the wise words of Alex, what goes up must come down. See you next time.
Yeah.